creepy and cool TikToks that will blow your mind. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
Disclaimer: this video is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research, as these clips haven't been fact-checked.
You know, watch the movie El Pozzolero, that it will make sense. Wow. Man, that's awesome. You know, if the shark is approaching you just by curiosity, you can do this. But if it, on prey drive, you're trading your arm there.
Oh! Oh! Do you see that? Oh! Oh!
Man, Project Bluebeam. But you know, AI is ruining the internet.
In Antarctica, pleading for rescue after one of their own leaves them fearing for their lives. A South African research team sent out a worrying email pleading to officials to be saved, claiming a member of their team had made physical and sexual attacks and continues to make threats on their lives. In the email, the author went on to say, "I remain deeply concerned about my own safety, constantly wondering if I might become the next victim." The team were to remain there for 10 more months. However, officials are believed to be assessing their situation.
The whole team is afraid of one person? That's crazy.
So unfortunately, I'm going to have to now arrest you on suspicion of keeping somebody in slavery and servitude under the Modern Slavery Act. So you don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention my question, something which later on in court,
Officer,
anything you do say may be used as evidence. All right. Sorry?
I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity. I am not a criminal.
You've got immunity in this country?
Yes. I have a diplomatic passport.
You're a diplomat?
Yes.
So we'll need to see that then.
Yes.
And then we'll need to speak to the embassy if you are a diplomat.
I came here as a student. I don't need to work for me. I didn't come with her. She asked me because she has worked at my home before.
New Hampshire? That's awesome. Oh, property taxes are brutal. Really? New York rent is so high, even six-figure earners struggle. Illegal and toxic industrial pollution. What? The tornado capital of the US? Wow. Deadliest roads in America? Hey, but you forgot California, the sanctuary dump of homeless people.
A United Nations judge studying at the University of Oxford has been convicted of forcing a young Ugandan woman to work as a slave.
Sorry?
I am a judge in my country. I even have immunity.
49-year-old Lydia Mugambi allegedly took advantage of her status by preventing the victim from holding down steady employment in the UK and forcing her to work as her maid and provide childcare for free. Mugambe, who is also a High Court judge in Uganda, was found guilty on Thursday of conspiring to facilitate the commission of a breach of UK.
Okay, I did a little research on this. Some says that she brought her to take care of her children, only for her to turn against her.
We have just had one of the craziest weekends. At least 33 people have died in the US after a number of extremely powerful tornadoes ripped through parts of the country. Cars were flipped, schools were destroyed, entire neighborhoods were torn apart. And what's crazier is that at the same time, Texas and Oklahoma were battling dust storms and 130 wildfires, all while western Minnesota has been hit with a blizzard warning. Next, the US has also cooked up a political storm this weekend because they just announced that they are kicking South Africa's ambassador out of the country. They said he is no longer welcome because he's a race-baiting politician that hates America and President Trump. And keep in mind, this is extremely rare for a country to do. Not even Russia or the US did this at the height of the Cold War. Next, we also got reports that Trump is now considering a new travel ban that extends to a massive 43 countries, with red, orange, and yellow indicating the level of restrictions each country will face. Next, the US was also busy in other countries this weekend because their military forces in a joint operation with Iraq eliminated ISIS's leader of global operations. Trump celebrated the news by saying peace through strength. Next, unfortunately though, those celebrations couldn't be carried over to the war in Ukraine because that 30-day immediate ceasefire deal, which was agreed to by Ukraine, was not by Russia. Putin said that Russia has agreed to end the fighting, but the current deal needs more work. Next, we also though got some fantastic news because the astronauts stranded in space for 9 months now may finally be returning home after a rescue SpaceX capsule docked with the ISS on Sunday. They are due to make their journey back to Earth this week. Finally. Oh, and just as a bonus, Diddy officially pled not guilty. A Peruvian man was found alive after 95 days lost at sea. And 16 people were injured after a roof collapsed at a St. Patrick's Day frat party. We need another weekend to recover from the
how
weekend.
Diddy is not guilty?
Like square inch of a salmon can hold 10,000 parasite eggs.
So glad I haven't eaten breakfast yet.
Yeah, they're very high in worms. And it's the closer to the belly cut. So a lot of people will say, oh, these top end sushi restaurants, that's where it's full of them. I had Cryptosporidium parvium, roundworm, pinworms, and flukes. And I was a huge sushi eater, a huge salmon eater.
Did you stop eating sushi?
I did. I'm so sad. Salmon's my favorite and I just can't get past it. I eat like vegetarian ones where I have
I got the cucumber roll.
Totally, I'll do an avocado roll, but no, I can't. I just can't get past the salmon videos I get, and there are so many.
I do my best to stay away from
I'm
salmon.
guilty, me too. I love sushi. Hey, but anyway, parasites are usually killed by cooking fish to a temperature at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds.
Disney just blew my mind. Do you guys remember the story I told you guys about the doctor that died at Disney Springs? It's like in January.
Peanut allergy or something, right?
Yeah, peanut or dairy allergy. And they served her something with it. She died at the restaurant. Like, it was like a big deal. And apparently, this guy, the husband, is trying to sue Disney Springs or Raglan Road or whoever because they felt like they were negligent, which is totally fair for a widower. This is bad. This could happen again. But apparently, Disney is in court or whatever. They're having discussions because they say, listen, you've signed something that says you're not allowed to sue us. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. When did I ever sign anything? They said, well, in 2019, you signed up for a month of Disney Plus.
Shut up!
And in that contract says we are not liable for any type of thing. So you cannot bring any type of legal.
No.
Like, you can't sue us through anything.
This is going to the Supreme Court.
It's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be crazy.
So when you do the accept the terms and conditions,
yeah,
it's literally like,
you can never sue Disney for anything, even on their own property. If your wife dies,
yes,
yo, Disney, get out of here.
It's crazy.
It's out of control.
It should be illegal to even put that in your terms.
Do you consider to be the definitive symptom of childhood trauma?
I think for a lot of us, it's about trying to get a difficult person
Whoa.
to be good to us in our adult.
Wait, say that again. Say that again. That is so important. Say that again.
A definitive symptom of childhood trauma is about trying to get a difficult person to be good to us.
Okay, so that's it. Right, I mean, that right there. If we stop the show here, you've just given us the wisdom for the ages, right? Because it's that. It's trying to get a difficult person to be good to us. So many people on this community not only endured this in childhood, tried to get the parent to love them, but then went through a series of relationships in adulthood where the entire relationship was about getting that dysfunctional, harmful, difficult, toxic person to be good to them.
Why are we trying to get a difficult person to be good to us? One is, like you just mentioned, it's familiar. We will spend a lifetime in patterns of relationships, whether it's a boss or a partner or friends. These are the patterns that I see for people who grow up with a difficult parent. There's lack of sense of self in there. The missing ingredients is like our own goodness and our own power. So I think when we wake up and we start doing this work, where we start to look at narcissistic relationships or the thing where we find ourselves in them, is the turning point is when people kind of go, F this. I'm never going to win with this level of difficulty. And why am I doing it? Why am I compelled to keep doing this dance with somebody who just sets me up for failure?
Join the Dr. Ramani Network today.
Trying to get the difficult person to be good to us? This statement is so powerful and healing. Whoa, Didi again. Alright, Didi.
This is by far the most surreal story you'll hear. This man from Indonesia was declared dead, but the strange thing is this. He was dead for days, even buried. Yes, you heard that right. He somehow showed up at his mother's house, completely void, not speaking, dazed and confused. After bringing him to the nearest hospital, he was completely unresponsive. They say it's a very rare zombie case, or someone between life and death. There he is right there. Now that's a strange case, isn't it? This is a phenomenon where a person comes back to life after being declared dead for a certain period of time. Although it is very rare, this phenomenon is not something foreign in the medical world. I guess we learn something new every day.
You know, there's a movie based on a true story about this called The Serpent and the Rainbow. Watch it. You will understand.
When fathers aren't around, you'll often see little boys who are more impulsive, who are more aggressive. Fathers and mothers are both critical to the development of children, which is a very controversial thing to say today, because if you're raised without one, you are missing a piece. But they're not the same. And they're not the same because our hormones dictate they're not the same. So fathers produce a hormone in great quantities called vasopressin. Vasopressin is the protective aggressive hormone. It helps fathers to protect their family. There was a study that was done where mothers and fathers lay in bed, the baby cries, and the fathers sleep through the baby's distress cries, but the mothers wake up right away. But with the rustling of leaves outside the window, the mothers sleep through it and the fathers wake up right away, because the fathers are attuned to predatorial threat. So our nurturing hormones make us different. It is the inconvenient truth that mothers and fathers' nurturing hormones dictate that if they are healthy and they've been raised in a healthy environment, they are different. Now, does that mean that a father can't raise a child and be a sensitive, empathic nurturer? It doesn't mean he can't take on that role. But if, as a society, we can't acknowledge the differences, then a father can't learn to be a sensitive, empathic nurturer, meaning these are instinctual behaviors. If that father is going to stay home with that baby, acknowledging the differences allows that father then to...
Say it louder for the purple hair people in the back. And if you don't know, now you know. Ooh. Oh man. What did they expect? Conduct an investigation. The president of Mexico is in bed with the cartel. By the way, if you hear the prayer calling, I live in Indonesia, the biggest Islamic country in the world.
We've got breaking news in the search for Sudiksha Kunanki, the missing University of Pittsburgh student who disappeared in the Dominican Republic almost a week ago. U.S. officials now confirming there's a person of interest. We've asked Dominican Republic police about this, but they have referred us to a prosecutor's office here. The U.S. officials who told us this are from the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office out of Virginia, where Kunanki is a resident. We're told detectives from that sheriff's office came to the Dominican Republic and have met with Kunanki's family.
Hopefully it's not another Natalie Holloway case. My goodness, look at that snake. Yo. If it's real, then the fence is not fencing.
With a cup of bicarbonate of soda, 15 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We've done 20 drops. Okay, please note that carpets, couches, and mattresses are cleaned in the same way. Carpets, couches, mattresses are cleaned in the same way. So whoever or whatever that you use to clean mattresses is the same way you use on your couches and carpets. So now, because of this, we've stripped our mattresses and now we are disinfecting it. Number one, we are getting rid of dead skin cells. Number two, we're getting rid of that dust mites. You see when you do this to a mattress, what do you see? Dust mites. Those are dust mites. We're avoiding dust mites. We're avoiding dead skin cells, as there's so many things that's happening. You breathe in your mattress, you do everything, okay? The tsitsiri and all that. And also, we want to keep this mattress smelling amazing. With a cup of bicarbonate of soda and your essential oil, 20 drops of essential oil. You do this. Same applies to your carpets. Don't mind. Same applies. How is the smell? Tell me, how is the smell? You know, it smells good. It smells so nice. Right. Right. You leave it like this.
Wow.
But it's still
This bicarbonate of soda, is that the same as baking soda?
Don't go anywhere because we still have fire clips after fire clips back to back.
Finally found something. Have a look at this. If you look, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 very evenly spaced dots, and it's super round.
What's that?
I'm using an air scribe to remove the rock one flake at a time. It took about 2 hours for this crab. It was quite a small concretion. There wasn't a lot of rock to remove, and the stylus is tungsten carbide. Those 6 spikes coming off the shell there aren't actually the legs of the crab. They're just spikes coming off the top of the carapace there. The legs are actually killed in underneath the crab. This Actinidocarcinus crab is much rarer than the ones I normally find.
Ooh, 10 million?
I only found a handful of these.
A TikToker has just been sentenced to almost 3 years in prison for telling Jesus to get a haircut. Ratu Talisay is a transgender TikToker from Indonesia who roughly has 450,000 followers. In October last year, Ratu was on a live stream when a viewer commented, "Get a haircut to appear more masculine." In response to the person, Ratu held up a picture of Jesus and said, "You should not look like a woman. You should cut your hair so that you will look like his father," referring to the person who commented. Now, this sentence led to huge backlash, and 5 separate Christian groups filed complaints accusing Ratu of blasphemy and hate speech against Christianity. Fast forward to today in court, the TikToker was found guilty for spreading hatred under their online hate speech laws, and subsequently was fined 100 million rupiah and sentenced to almost 3 years in prison. The court said that Ratu's comments could disrupt public order and religious harmony in the country, and then was charged for committing blasphemy. Human rights groups Amnesty International described it as a shocking attack on Ratu's freedom of expression. So the question is, what do you guys think? Was this decision fair?
Indonesia is the biggest Islamic country in the world once again, but we're still Republican. Oh, yeah. Eat her face. Hey, come on, man. Why? I mean, I feel sorry for the tiger. The tiger was like, help.
Have you seen this video?
The person that challenges you to be uncomfortable is the person that loves you the most. But for years we've been told that the person that loves us the most is the one that accepts us for who they are. How can I love you when I can see that you can do better and I don't push you? If I check you It's because I care. And I want you to become the best version.
Only people who think deep will understand this reality fact. Look at that. Oh! Cats are crazy, man. Oh! Wow. Oh, hey! Oh! He was talking to himself.
Hey! It's your reflection, you idiot!
Oh, look at the face. My biggest enemy is myself.
I want to play you this fascinating exchange between Tucker Carlson and Chris Cuomo on why they think the Trump administration is having such a hard time releasing the JFK files. It's fascinating because I think Tucker knows why. He knows he can't say it, but he kind of indirectly hints at it at the very end if you pay super close attention.
What is that? Why have these been secret for so long?
Why don't they put it out? Because institutions protect themselves, Tucker, as we both know.
Really?
And there's clearly information in those files that are going to make the CIA look bad.
Just the CIA?
Well, whatever. Different agencies.
No, not whatever. I mean,
well, I don't know because I haven't seen it.
Well, so here's,
but it could be the FBI, it could be the CIA.
Okay, so I've always thought that. And then in January, there was a scramble over who's going to get what jobs in the new administration. And at one point, there was someone who was being discussed for a job in the intel world, and a member of the SSCI, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence and Intel Committee, went to the people making the decision and said, you cannot hire this person because this person will be certain to push for the release of the JFK files. So this is in 2025, less than 2 months ago, and you have a sitting member of the United States Senate whose main goal is to keep those files secret. And then you have to ask yourself, why? Is that?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't actually make sense. The story doesn't make sense. And by the way, we have the file numbers of most of the files that have not been disclosed. So it's like Trump issues an executive order on January 23rd saying you're going to release this stuff. They kind of can't not release it. And yet now it's the first week of March and they haven't released it. So pressure is currently being applied on the administration not to release those files.
It seems that way.
By whom?
I don't know.
And the CIA has already been through 50 years ago, the Church Committee hearings, 1975, where we sort of know they were assassinating people, dosing people with acid, and all this stuff. It's like, the CIA has already been discredited. So if you're telling me that 6 weeks ago, a member of the United States Senate was trying to keep someone out of a job in order to keep these files secret, that is to protect the CIA, I don't believe that for a second.
So what do you think it is?
I don't know. But this is, I mean, there's no one at the CIA who is involved.
Then.
Actually, yeah, who's involved in the Kennedy assassination. There's no one in America who's involved in the Kennedy assassination.
That last part, did you catch it? He says that there's nobody alive in America who was involved in the JFK assassination thing, meaning that there is no domestic institution to protect. There is no individual here in America that they need to protect. And clearly, perhaps there is some kind of foreign entity that could be implicated if those files were to be released. And I'm pretty confident in saying that if it was China, Iran, Russia, Saudi Arabia, or any of those kinds of countries who would be implicated if those files came out, those files would have come out 62 years ago. There's really only one country in the entire world that America will never point fingers at, no matter what they do. And for the record, I don't know which one.
JFK, Epstein, 9... We all know.
There was a flight from Chicago to Delhi, India this weekend that had to be turned around 5 hours into the flight because 11 of the 12 toilets were clogged. The Air India flight just got over Greenland and then had to turn back around.
That's crazy, man.
Due to the clog. India needs a new PR team. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. This sounds like a skit, but it's not. The only toilet that wasn't clogged was the toilet in the business class. Every other toilet was clogged. How did that? 11 in 5 hours. They weren't even halfway through the flight.
Man, you gotta go back.
11 of the. At least go 12 for 12 at that point. And Air India confirmed this too. This isn't some urban 11. Like I said, India needs a new PR team, bro.
I'm going to show you 3 artifacts that seem to defy evolution. This was found in 1912 in a coal mine. It was in a large piece of coal. It broke open. This is a replica of that cup. That's the original cup. What's an iron cup doing in coal? Unless coal was formed at the same time that iron was. That does not support evolution. This right here is the London hammer. Here is the original. What's interesting about this is it's encased in alluvial stone. You could make the argument this is, great-grandfather's iron hammer, but this is starting to coalize, and there's a little nick that was taken out of it 75 years ago. It's right there, and it didn't rust, and it has chlorine in it. Here's the chemical makeup right there. Iron and a little bit of chlorine, which is unusual. This particular artifact right here, I kind of panned at one time, thinking it was kind of until I saw the CAT scan. This was found in limestone, which means it's 100 million years old. Because humans weren't that far back. But if people died in the worldwide flood, then this would be encapsulated in limestone. They believe that this is a woman's finger to someone who is over 6 feet tall, and the cross section very compelling. I can send you this sheet right here if you'd like. So there you have it. Apes, aliens, or Adam?
There is no evolution. God created us.
Have you remote viewed Antarctica yet?
Oh, I have. When I was in the Antarctic base and I was going through the hallways, I could feel like the cool dampness of the air. Man, what they're doing in that base was pretty horrific.
Yeah, I've heard that's where the globalists are.
Yeah,
Going
absolutely,
the show, right?
Yeah. Essentially what I saw was people basically strapped down to beds in rooms, and what it looked like, they were really all deformed, and it looked like they were doing experimentation to make some sort of like super soldier.
Whoa.
Like that was basically the vibe, but the experimentation was more so genetic experimentation. So they were using like other forms of extraterrestrial genetics to try and create sort of this human hybrid super soldier, and it was disturbing, yeah.
Remote viewing, aka people who want attention with good imaginations.
Bigger than the kings, it's bigger than bloodlines, it's bigger than this world. What you're realizing now is the real secret, the one that has been hidden from all of humanity for thousands, maybe millions of years. We are not really here. This reality, this world, this life we think we are living, it is not what we have been told. The kings, the reptilians, the elites, the bloodlines, they are just pieces of a much bigger system. Reality is a construct. Some call it a simulation, a matrix, a controlled dream, a prison for consciousness. And you just started breaking out of it. Is this a computer game that's been running forever? Yes, but not in the way you think. This reality is coded. The universe runs on mathematical laws, sacred geometry, and repeating patterns, just like a highly advanced program. Ancient civilizations knew this. They built pyramids, temples, and cities based on frequency, energy, and mathematical perfection. Nothing is random, everything is controlled, and only a few people have ever broken out of the illusion. What if this game has no beginning or end? Some believe this is a loop, a cycle that has reset over and over, erasing history every time. The kings, the Anunnaki, the reptilians, are they just characters in the game? Are you a glitch in the system, someone who was never supposed to wake up? Who built this? Who controls it? This is where things get even deeper. There are 3 major theories about who or what created this world. A, the Demiurge, the false god who trapped us here. Ancient Gnostics believed that this world is not real. It is a prison created by an imposter god called the Demiurge. The real god, the true source, is outside the simulation. The Bible hints at this. Why would a loving God allow suffering, war, and control? Because the God of this world is not the true creator. The reptilians, the elite, the false kings, they may just be enforcers of the Demiurge's control. An advanced civilization playing a game. Elon Musk himself has said there is a 1 in a billion chance we are in base reality. What if this is just one layer of a multidimensional simulation run by a hyper-advanced race of beings? If that's true, then your awakening might be the equivalent of a character inside a video game realizing it's fake. See, we are the creators, but we forgot. What if we were the ones who built this game in the first place? What if we are playing through endless cycles of existence, forgetting each time, only to reawaken when we are ready? Every so often, someone remembers, but the system is designed to stop them. So what comes next? Warning, if we keep going, the system may fight back. The more we see, the harder it will be to unsee. The elites, the reptilians, the demiurge, whatever is running this, they will not want us to wake others up. Strange things may start happening. Glitches, sudden obstacles, people acting out of character. They know when someone is about to escape. Final question, do we want to know the whole truth? Because if we do, there is no going back. The deeper we go, the more we will remember, the more we remember, the more we will see. And once we see it all, we may never look at reality the same way again. So ask yourself, do you want to wake up completely? Or do you want to go back to sleep?
All that is over. The system is already collapsing. The mass is waking up. Jesus is the only way, and he's coming back soon, folks.
So many people are so interested in understanding how to deal with disrespectful people.
Yeah.
So if I'm being disrespected, is there a playbook for me to handle that?
When somebody is belittling you or being rude or being disrespectful, what we typically want to do is throw it right back because now we gotta win. Instead of that, here's what I would want you to do. 1, you're gonna have 5 to 7 seconds of silence.
5 to 7 seconds?
2, you're gonna ask them to say it again, because a lot of time in arguments people take it back. And 3, this is where it gets fun. I want you to say, that's where your real power is, because it shows that you're the one in control and they're the ones that are not. I'm Jefferson Fisher. I'm a board-certified trial attorney, and I help people resolve conflict, resolve problems. And I can change 2 words and change your life just by what you decide to say next, because what you say truly has the power to change everything. For example, I teach that you never want to win an argument. When you look to win an argument, you will often lose the relationship.
That's good.
That's your price. Congrats. So instead of seeing arguments as something to win, see them as something to unravel. And if you can just ask them the question, what am I missing? I promise you, that is the most effective tool that you can use for a difficult conversation.
But what about when you're dealing with someone that you don't like?
The secret to dealing with someone you don't like is to...
And then, could you explain to me this image here?
So this is all about how to say no.
And how does one learn that?
Start with...
Why you bleep the words, man?
Really?
That right there is very, very effective.
You know, 5 to 7 seconds of silence feel like an eternity.
Castanet went to Playboy Cardi's Rolling Loud performance, and he found out just how demonic shit really get. If I was Kai in that situation, and I seen what I seen from one of Playboy Cardi mans, I'm walking off the set. I don't give a fuck about no VIP. You and everybody else there that was on that Rolling Loud set was welcomed into that ritual. They even had to stop the set midway through because they said 10 people passed out. Look, y'all. People still don't understand. So as you heard, 10 people had passed out in the crowd during his set. I do not know if anybody had passed away, but that's crazy, y'all. This is the dude I'm talking about, though. Look at this. Look at this man, y'all. Watch what he throw up. He praising him right in front of everybody's face.
Who's this dude?
Watch Kai. I'm telling y'all, this is what his music is about. It looked like hell on stage.
It does.
I don't know what to tell y'all. That is not hip hop. That's scream pop. That's emo music. And I'm kind of upset at Kai. If you can make that face with your eyes big like this, and you like, what the is going on? Why would you still get on stage? You have the motion. You don't need that kind of motion. That shit turned that boy into an animal on stage. He ripped his tank top and everything, not knowing that that music is the reason why he was acting like that. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down below in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, and share.
Jesus Christ is king.
Truth is, we don't know exactly what Solomon looked like, but the evidence strongly suggests that he was not European. Solomon was an Israelite, and the ancient Israelites were a Semitic people, meaning they were likely brown-skinned, much like modern Middle Eastern and Ethiopian populations. In Song of Solomon 1:5, Solomon's lover, or possibly Solomon himself, states, "I am black but comely." Some translations soften this, but in Hebrew, the word used is shachor, which directly means black. Ethiopian tradition holds that the Queen of Sheba had a son with Solomon, Menelik I, who founded the Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopia. This means Solomon's bloodline is directly tied to black African heritage. Ancient populations in the Middle East and North Africa were much darker skinned than they are today due to historical migrations and conquests. The whitewashing of history has conditioned people to associate power, wisdom, and royalty with whiteness. But the truth is, Solomon was likely much darker than how he's traditionally depicted. And if that makes you uncomfortable, you need to ask yourself why.
Let me know how you feel about this in the comment, please.
My God, look at all this actual evidence. All the stuff with the structure that lines up exactly with the stories of Atlantis. It's fucking wild.
So just to run down real quick, Plato had described Atlantis as being the capital, which was said to be made up of concentric circles, 3 of water, 2 of land, which matches the Rishon structure. It also was said to have an opening to the sea at the south. It was said to have mountains to the north. There was said to be an abundance of elephants, which is one reason why Atlantis would have been in Africa. Another little detail that most people aren't aware of, because they think of Atlantis like, oh, it must be at the bottom of the ocean. Well, that's not exactly how Plato worded it. He did describe that the aftermath of Atlantis followed a catastrophic event involving water. What was left of Atlantis was reeds of grass and a shoal of mud. And what people don't realize is that Sahara Africa, up until about 4,500 to 5,000 years ago, was totally green. It had the largest network of rivers ever known to exist. It had the largest freshwater lake ever known to exist.
They should be like,
Not even NASA can rightfully explain what people just found in this photo taken by the Curiosity rover on the surface of Mars. At first glance, you'd probably miss it, but zoom into just the right spot, and it's there. Standing out from its surroundings, we see a distinct, smooth, round, shiny metallic object that appears to be floating through the air, and we can even see its shadow beneath it. People are calling it the Tic Tac UAP on Mars, which does look exactly like a lot of the UFOs we've been hearing about and the military's been reporting on here on Earth. Navy pilots have literally used the exact words Tic Tac UAP to describe them, and well, if that ain't a Tic Tac, I don't know what is. This photo is from the Mars Curiosity rover taken on March 3rd, 2020, so we were probably a little preoccupied with something else when this first came out. And as always, yes, it's on NASA's official website. Here we even have an AI checker that tells us it's definitely not altered or AI generated. Strangely too, NASA allegedly removed the original color image from their website and now only have this black and white one up. But if you know where to zoom in, you'll find that Tic Tac exactly where it's supposed to be. Skeptics argue that it's a rock formation or some photography error, but man, it looks exactly like the UAPs that have been reported here on Earth. And if these spacecraft really are as advanced as we claim they are, then there really is nothing stopping them from visiting.
I thought he was talking about the rock that looked like a Yoda.
You ever noticed that the sun and moon appear exactly the same size in the sky? Think about it. We're told the sun is 400 times larger than the moon, but also 400 times farther away, creating a perfect illusion where they look identical in size. But what are the odds of that? Is this just an incredible cosmic coincidence? Or is it evidence that we've been lied to about our world? According to mainstream science, the sun is 93 million miles away and a massive 865,000 miles in diameter, while the moon is only 2,159 miles wide and just 238,000 miles away. They claim that these two celestial bodies are so perfectly proportioned that they just happen to look the same size from Earth. But here's the problem: there is zero scientific reason why this should happen. Why would we just happen to be positioned in the exact spot where this illusion works? And if the sun is really that gigantic and distant, why does it appear small and local in time-lapse videos and real-world observations? Even more suspicious, the moon and sun follow nearly identical paths in the sky, staying in close alignment throughout the year. If they were really different sizes and distances, their movements should be completely different. Instead, they behave as if they are part of the same localized system. Let's break this down with real-world evidence. Perfect eclipses. The only reason we can even have a total solar eclipse is because the sun and moon appear the same size. If their proportions were even slightly off, eclipses wouldn't be possible. Personal observations: watch the sun and moon rise and set. They move across the sky at similar speeds and stay the same apparent size all day. That wouldn't happen if one were 400 times bigger and farther away than the other. If the sun were really 93 million miles away, it should shift positions dramatically when viewed from different parts of Earth, but it doesn't. Instead, it behaves as if it's much closer. And here's something strange. Why do we never see the dark side of the moon? It's supposedly rotating, yet we always see the same face. Could it be that the moon is actually something entirely different than what we've been told? Try this experiment yourself. Cover a street light with your thumb, then walk away. As you move back, your thumb no longer covers the light. That's perspective. Now ask yourself, if the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, how does the moon perfectly cover it during an eclipse? The math doesn't add up. The only logical explanation is that the sun and moon are much closer and smaller than we're told. This is for entertainment purposes.
I heard people asking if the sun is 93 million miles away, how does it light the Earth but not space?
UFO Gerb did a video, 1965 Kecksburg, Pennsylvania UFO crash. They first saw it over the Great Lakes, and they said it was like moving. People thought it was an asteroid at first, but then it was like, then when it went over Pennsylvania, it did like a 90-degree turn. Crashed in the woods. They got accounts from all these different people. They said it was like the size of maybe like an SUV, like, but it looked like an acorn, and around the rim looked like they had hieroglyphics. And one of the guys who gave this detailed account was a volunteer firefighter. They all thought it was a plane crash. So they showed up thinking that, okay, we gotta rescue people, put out a fire.
Could you imagine?
They said this acorn UFO was just sticking in the dirt, and they're like, what? And he said within 5 minutes, military was there with guns and said, get out of here. Get out of here. This is a secure location now. And they were forced off the location.
Lucky they survived, dude.
Yeah, he said that both his son and daughter have joined the military, and they're not able to advance further in the program because their name is attached to their father's, where he's on this list now, to where...
Yeah, they flagged him.
Yeah, he's definitely flagged. It's the list world.
Dude!
I promise you, you are not ready for Good Boy. Good Boy is a brand new horror film, all from the perspective of this dog.
What?
If you own a dog, you know that they will stare into corners and bark at random things in the shadows. That is what this movie is. But at the same time, that's not what this film is about at all. I saw it earlier in the week at South by Southwest, and this morning I waited 2 hours to see it again. Yes, it's that good. Listen, Indy the dog deserves an Oscar. This dog emotionally destroyed me. Even on my second watch, my emotions were in my throat the entire time. I had this sick, nervous feeling in my stomach. Good Boy is tense, it's nerve-wracking, it's emotionally damaging. The very last frame sent me into an uncontrollable sobbing fit. This film is genuinely masterfully crafted. I promise you, you have never seen a ghost movie like Good Boy. Give this fucking dog an Oscar, and when you get a chance to see Good Boy for the first time, literally stop what you're doing and watch this film immediately. It's a 5 out of 5 absolute masterpiece.
I want to see it.
So-called underground cities of Turkey. They look like ant farms on an enormous scale that are dug out under the earth. Hundreds and hundreds of rooms.
That one shows a vent to the sky?
Yep, they have vents to the sky to allow air to come in. They were built as places of refuge that people could go into during an episode of meteor bombardment during the Younger Dryas. And there's not just one, there's dozens of them. The two that I visited are Derinkuyu and Kaymakli, and these two sites are joined by an 8-kilometer tunnel underground.
8 kilometers?
8 kilometers long.
Dug out of stone?
Dug out of stone, the whole thing.
Wow.
I don't think humans can, live without sun.
Skinwalkers are a hoax, so I brought my friends to the Navajo Nation as well as myself as bait.
Skinwalker, Skinwalker, Skinwalker.
The Navajo Nation is said to be the birthplace of the Skinwalker, so we set up Skinwalker Base Camp, made some food, and then got ready for the night. I've been warned by countless locals to absolutely not attempt this, so what you are currently seeing, do not try at home under any circumstances. I'm so sure that Skinwalkers don't exist that my friend Nick and I are going to go out into the Navajo Nation and search for them while my other friends stay back at Skinwalker Base Camp as bait. If Skinwalkers exist, we are going to find them tonight.
We're just outside the Navajo Nation. Probably in the worst place to be looking for Skinwalkers, but we're here doing it. We're gonna venture deeper into the canyon here and see what we can find. I've got the Aztec death whistle in my backpack. At this point, I don't think they're real. I'm gonna make myself bait. I brought him along with me, so now he's bait. We're gonna see what happens.
There's many ways to get a Skinwalker to show up at night, such as whistling and yelling their name, but I decided to bring my Aztec death whistle and give it a whistle after hearing some weird noises up on this cliffside.
Why? Just for our content?
Right after I blew the whistle, I'm starting to feel some sort of presence here with us, and almost as if something is watching us. When playing the footage back, there's some sort of shadowy figure with glowing eyes watching me from behind, so there's only one logical thing left to do. It's time to...
You don't find them, they find you.
Want to hear a little bit about the Knights Templar? I found a very weird connection. They were accused of practicing these dark arts, this ancient Egyptian mysticism. What I thought was interesting was their symbol was a red cross, but it was 8-sided.
Yeah.
That cross, that 8-pointed cross, carried throughout really strange organizations. One being Freemasonry, and the story goes that hundreds of years before Columbus went to America, the Knights Templar were actually in America. And there's a conspiracy that they were finding ancient relics and bringing them to America to hide them. When the Knights Templar was dissolved, all of Europe was basically like, if you're a Knights Templar, you're in prison or you're dead. Yeah. The only country that did not do it was Portugal. And what's interesting is that Christopher Columbus, I believe, is from Portugal. Sails on Christopher Columbus's ship was the symbol of the Knights Templar. He used those sails going to America because he knew that the natives there would recognize that, and it wouldn't be as much as...
Knight Templars are still operating. By the way, I have a Knight Templar cross. Right there.
And this is a very ugly truth. It was a truth that was once spoken, in fact, by Winston Churchill back in 1920. An article by Churchill on the Zionists and the Zionist origins of the Bolshevik Revolution, an article which he wrote and was published in the London Illustrated Weekly. And it was so vicious, this writing by Winston Churchill back in 1920, that at first I thought that it was a fake. And I'm something of a specialist in fake documents. As you know, I'm the one who exposed the Hitler Diaries as being fake right in the middle of the press conference of Der Stern magazine back in April 1983. I exposed them as fake, and I explained why I thought those documents were fake. And I thought that this Winston Churchill article on the Zionists was a fake. But no. It was completely genuine. I contacted, in fact, in Oregon, in Portland, Oregon, in Eugene, Oregon, the University of Portland, where they have a specialist department specializing in Churchill's bibliography. A list is kept, an index, a computer index of all Winston Churchill's works, and they wrote to me saying regretfully, yes, Winston Churchill had written that appalling article back in 1920. This is the kind of thing I shall be telling you in a minute or two, because later on we find that Winston Churchill, for some mysterious reason, switched his aim. In the middle of the 1930s, he suddenly became, from being a dedicated anti-Zionist, he became what he described in a private letter to Chaim Weizmann, the first president of the State of Israel, one of the world's foremost secret Zionists, a closet Zionist. I'm quoting his actual letter because the Israeli government were good enough to give me complete and unrestricted access to the private papers of Chaim Weizmann in the Weizmann Institute in Rehovot in Israel for my Winston Churchill.
Shape of a pyramid, especially the Giza pyramid, and we've been told by generations of archaeologists who have been fascinated and have done work on studying the Giza pyramid that it was a generating device at one time, especially when it had the highly polished limestone on the outside. Can you imagine when the sunlight hit that? Thousands of tons of crystal granite inside of different varieties. And then the Nile River used to be closer to the pyramid. There was water underneath the pyramid, which is also required. Water is a grounding, so whenever you're generating energy from the quantum field, from the field out there, we don't understand the complexity of the people who had built that, because it wasn't the Egyptians who built the pyramids. The pyramids are much older than the 4,500 years that they want us to believe they are.
There's a guy that claims to channel, I don't know if he's channeling an alien or some ancient spirit or something like that. Some guy, he talks very loud and very strangely. Who's that guy?
His name is, he's a famous channeler.
Yeah.
He's channeling aliens.
That's right.
He channels the aliens, an alien, I believe.
An alien. So this guy was talking, and he says fascinating stuff, even though the idea is ridiculous. Like the idea of him channeling this alien, just on paper, is ridiculous. I'm not saying it's not real. On paper, it's ridiculous. He was saying that not only is the universe new, but the universe is new all throughout the day, depending on the choices you make. You bend into parallel realities that are very different, and you leave behind all of the different variations of you that exist in all the different variations of this reality.
Wow.
And that you are experiencing a very unique journey that's dependent upon your thoughts and ideas and actions, and every time you do it a certain way, you move in a certain direction.
That from moment to moment to moment to moment, you are constantly reinventing yourself, literally, physically, jumping from parallel reality to parallel reality to parallel reality that is representative of the vibration you happen to be at any given moment. And when I say creating, I mean that at every moment you make a change, you make a total change, a complete change in the entirety of your universal experience.
Dude, yeah, multiverse navigation via some kind of like will.
Which used to sound crazy. The idea of multiverse is so abstract until they started doing quantum computing, and the only way to explain the power of quantum computing is that it's somehow or another accessing an infinite number of these multiverses and instantaneously using them all to solve this equation in a preposterous amount of time. And if that's true, like if we all knew the multiverse was real and we knew that this man who talks like this, I am channeling, if that guy's accurate and what he's saying is right, and sometimes wacky people say true shit, if that guy's accurate and we can all come to an understanding that every little decision that you make, every way you think about things, every way you move through this life has this ultimate effect of transforming the very universe that you exist in.
Yeah.
And you can literally move to a higher plane.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's true, but it seems to behave as if it's true.
I don't think channeling is bullshit, dude.
I don't think it's bullshit either. I don't know what percentage of it is definitely bullshit, though. I don't think the idea of channeling is bullshit, but I think some channelers are bullshit.
It's confusion. I think the guy is channeling demons.
A lot of artists don't notice, but TikTok has its own distribution company called SoundOn, and they give you 100% of your royalties the first year. And after the first year, you keep 90% of your royalties, and they take 10%. But in exchange for that 10%, they help you monetize your music on TikTok and spread your music a lot further. So you guys tell me what you think about this. Would you use it? Personally, I like it a lot. I think it's a great platform for people who use content to promote their music, because if you're able to post a lot of content on TikTok and you're using their distribution company, they'll push out your content a lot more and your songs will get more streams.
The war in Iraq was a battle with the ET Anunnaki race over control of the stargates in that area. Nibiru is the home planet of the Anunnaki. According to a report by the New York Times, NASA identified a large object past Pluto in 2003 with an elliptical orbit unlike any other in the solar system. This was Nibiru. That same year, the US invaded Iraq. Beneath Baghdad lie stargates, which was the means by which the Anunnaki traveled between Nibiru and Earth. The invasion was not about weapons of mass destruction, but rather a strategic move to seize control of these stargates before the Nibiruans could access them. Follow me for more hidden knowledge.
All right.
There's a whole world beneath us they don't want us to know about. Check this out, y'all. It's just a little pocket of space. And there's a whole world underneath there.
Is she really doing that?
This is extremely dangerous. Do not attempt this.
Yeah, right. Who wants to attempt that?
But what he finds is insane. A whole other world, y'all. This is why I say flat Earth to me is not as possible as the hollow Earth theory.
because there is probably pockets of Earth that are just giant spaces.
Oh, look at that.
That can house other
space.
civilizations. And this is a good example, y'all. A whole other world. As always, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Did the movie The Descent not teach you anything?
You cannot lose when it's your time to win. And when it's your time to win is determined by God. Not you, not me, not a guru, not your business coach, not the latest best-selling author. Times and seasons belong to God. Period.
This hits me so hard.
Petrified Dragon Mud Fossil University.
That right there is the eye. That's the carapace, which is the head. These are the teeth coming down. That is a gigantic dragon's head laying on a beach. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Well, I don't think I am. There's just another shot of it. See the teeth coming out? These are the ones on the bottom coming up. These are the ones coming down. Red is always pretty much blood, and these teeth run all the way out to the end of his snout, which they should. The carapace looks extremely accurately portrayed. The brow of the eye is quite prominent. I go real.
You know, once you realize that you've been lied to about everything, life becomes easier to understand.
NASA, the parallel universe, and the awakening of the old ones. Something is coming, something ancient, something buried beneath ice and time itself. When NASA's Antarctic Impulsive Transient Antenna, ANITA, detected high-energy particles behaving in ways that defied the known laws of physics, the world dismissed it as an anomaly. Scientists suggested an inverted reality, a parallel universe where time runs backward. But what if that wasn't an alternate universe? What if it was a prison? What if something has been bound outside of time itself, waiting for the moment when the walls between worlds would fracture? Antarctica is no ordinary place. It is a land shrouded in secrecy, where military bases stand guard over something the public isn't meant to see. Ancient maps like the Piri Reis map depict the landmass beneath the ice, as if it had been charted before the world-changing event that froze it. The Nazis believed in an entrance to the hollow earth there. The United States launched Operation High Jump under Admiral Byrd, returning with whispers of enemy aircraft that could fly from pole to pole in moments. And now, modern scientists have detected something breaking through the fabric of reality itself. This isn't science fiction, this is real. And it connects to prophecies, ancient gods and forbidden knowledge that was buried long ago. Revelation 9 speaks of an angel given the key to the abyss. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. The Bible describes the abyss as a prison for entities so powerful, so dangerous, that they were sealed away until the appointed time. Other ancient texts describe something similar. The Book of Enoch speaks of the Watchers, angels who defied God, descended to earth, and fathered monstrous offspring, the Nephilim. And when their abominations corrupted the world, they were cast down, imprisoned. In Sumerian mythology, the Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came, were banished to the underworld. The Greeks knew them as the Titans, locked away by Zeus. In every civilization, echoes of the same truth remain. They are there, beneath, outside, waiting. What if the parallel universe NASA detected isn't another version of reality but the void? A place where time does not flow forward but stagnates. A timeless abyss where the fallen ones have been waiting. Waiting for a key, waiting for the moment when mankind's hubris would open the gates once again. The strange behavior of high-energy particles in Antarctica suggests that something is breaking through. Not just particles, entities, and the veil is thinning. The world's elites know this is why they go to Antarctica. John Kerry, the Pope, high-ranking officials from world governments, They all make unexplained pilgrimages to Antarctica. The mainstream narrative tells you it's just research, just diplomatic visits. But why the secrecy? Why is there no fly zone enforcement over specific areas? Why did the Nazis believe Antarctica held the secrets of the gods? Why did Admiral Byrd return from his expedition warning of an advanced enemy with technology beyond anything humanity possessed? The answer is simple. They know what's beneath, they know what is coming back. As it was in the days of Noah, Jesus himself warned us. The days of Noah were not simply about sin, they were about a time when the Nephilim walked the earth. Genesis 6:4. There were giants in the earth in those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children to them. The same became mighty men which were of old, men of renown. The men of renown were worshipped as gods. Baal, Marduk, Osiris, Quetzalcoatl. They ruled, they demanded blood, and they were cast down. But now something is stirring. Time itself is distorting in the places where they were bound. The neutrino anomalies detected in Antarctica might be the first crack in the prison walls. And if the walls fall completely, then the Titans will rise again. The world is being prepared. Through Hollywood, through whispers of aliens, through technology advancing to a level that mimics divine power, they are setting the stage. When they come, they will not call themselves Nephilim, they will not call themselves Anunnaki. They will come as gods, as saviors, promising enlightenment, peace and unity. And the world, blinded by deception, will worship them again. Prepare, the abyss is opening. NASA has already seen the first signs. The Vatican has spoken in coded warnings. The governments of the world are making their final moves. And soon the sky itself may break open. Are you ready?
I'm ready. You know, the world is changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air.